get some thumbs up or I get a few pictures, but you're the one with the most consistency.
That's because I'm like, okay, he's doing it. I'm doing it too. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Jim and Stu Show, where we talk about all sorts of things that matter to us, and hopefully they matter to you. And
Yep.
we're out here doing it every single day.
Jim, one
So,
thing that matters to me is our every Wednesday at 9 a.m. thing in the bottom right hand corner. Have you noticed that? That we're
oh,
every Wednesday at 10 a.m. now.
oh, snap! Wow,
Got to fix that.
how long's that been wrong?
Couple months.
Oh, have you noticed it every time, or is today the first time?
No, I've noticed it.
Uh-oh. Just didn't want to say anything because
I
you're too
was I was
polite.
focused on the show, Jim.
Okay. Well,
Today I am not focused on the show, so I noticed a
okay.
little thing. Yeah.
So if I can track down the original graphic and I can put some white out on it, and that'd be funny to like white it out and
Cross
then
it out.
write it in there with pen and stuff. What's up, Peter? We're glad you guys are here. So, Stu,
Yes.
hey, what's up, Vicky? Um, I want to talk about something. I know you had something you want us to talk about, and we will talk about it maybe. But one of the things I've noticed lately with people is they want to like sneak up on the sale. Like if they want to sell, what's up, Anna? What's up, Robert? Um, Educate us. Yes, we're going to educate you today, Robert, and do our best. And what I mean by that, what I'm trying to say is that people are like trying to sneak up on the sale. They want to sneak. They're so scared of people saying no that they're petrified of rejection, and so they don't want to be. They want to be like, I'm gonna give you all this stuff, and then you're gonna like me so much that you're gonna want to buy my thing, and I know that if I ask you to buy, you could say no, and then we won't be friends anymore, and I won't have anybody else to sell to. And
Yeah. Little over.
I'm like, what?
Go ahead, Mr. Pickles. I don't
I'm
mean
like
to.
Mr. Pickles who'll get all up in your groove and be like, hey, look, you need to buy this crap. Because it's not crap, it's amazing. And it's an incredible value. And if you're serious about what you want to do in your life, then you need to buy this and buy it right now. Otherwise, you hate your kids and your life has been a complete waste of time, energy, and effort up to this point, and you suck.
Yeah. I would agree, Mr. Pickles. In fact, you can say, if you're really my friend, you would buy this.
oh yeah, absolutely. So it's true that everybody's trying to sneak up on the sale. So
Yeah.
I've learned this recently, putting together like perfect webinars and other things. It's like, I'm going to give you this information and then you're going to love me. But it's almost like the information is unrelated to the thing you're trying to sell, or it's
That
just a
makes no sense.
distraction.
Hmm.
Whereas ultimately, like if somebody were to say, okay, Stu, I want to get ready for buds. Okay, great. Go read a couple of these articles, but if you're really serious about it, you need to buy my book because all the information's in my book. And if you're super serious about it, you need to join my group coaching. And if you're 100% committed, you need to join my one-on-one where I literally will wake your ass up out of bed every morning. Now I'm serious.
Yeah, no, that's great. I agree.
And the person who's totally serious is going to be like, you know what? I could go look at YouTube videos. I could go do this. It's not that it's wrong to do those things. I do them all the time. It's like building a relationship. But at some point, it's like in those romantic comedy movies. Do you and your wife ever watch rom-coms, or she ever rope you into that crap, or are you able to avoid it?
I'm lucky. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have to get into those too much, though. Hallmark shows. Those
Around
are things.
Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do those.
So how does the arc of those stories always, it goes like this, okay? You got the guy and you got the girl, and she's not looking for love, or is looking for love, or just lost a love, or all this other stuff. She's blue, and then it's like they go through the hero's journey, but they always end up with love over here. but there's fear of commitment. And if I ask, you might say no, or if I ask the wrong way, or if I don't do this. And at some point, you gotta poop or get off the pot. You gotta ask. And when you ask, you need to ask directly, you need to ask clearly, and you need to ask in a way that is compelling. Now, here's the other thing. If I made these movies, they'd be 5 friggin' minutes long. Boom. Hey, baby. How you doing? How you doing? And then it'd be like, hey, you like to bowl? You like video games? You like beers? You like to fish? All right, come on. Let's get hitched, honey. All right. The movie would be shorter than damn commercials. But here's the other thing. Think about yourself. Think about your own behavior. Think about your own psychology. I love to buy stuff. If you look around, you can see that I love to buy crap. I love to buy gun stuff. I love to buy gun stuff. I love to buy video game stuff, gun stuff, workout stuff. Obviously, I like lawn equipment and tractor stuff. And so if you look at all, I love to buy, technology too, man. So why do we have to make it hard to buy? In other words, if you've got something, see, here's the other shift. You're thinking about selling. I'm thinking about helping people buy something that's going to help them do what they already want to do. Now think about that. That's an important point that we need to talk about. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples. One of our mutual friend who had one of the most successful 1-minute infomercials in the history of like the universe. So people love to buy, right? Mm-hmm. But they hate to be sold. So if they love to buy and hate to be sold, here's the key if you want to help people buy. This is a quote from a guy who wrote a book about habits. I can't remember his name. Like his last name's Fogg. When I was at my other house. Okay. I got to get my new thing. Okay. His last name's Fogg. I think his first is BJ Fogg. He wrote a book about habits. This is an amazing quote. Okay. I think every good business is about helping people do what they already want to do. I literally typed this up and had it on my desk for forever. That's what we're figuring out. What do people want to do and how do we make it simple for them to do it? That's one of the things I teach a lot now to my students. Help people do what they already want to do. That's the difference between helping people buy and trying to sell people, is figure out what they already want to do and just help them do it. And let me ask you, those of you who are here with us live, do you like to waste time? Do you like live to waste time? Do you love to have someone suck the life out of you, droning on about crap you really have no interest in? No. If I really want to do something and somebody comes along and said, hey, do you really want to do this? Here's what I got. So let me show you something. A couple of examples of some of the most extremely successful commercials ever done to ever sell anything. Okay. And then we're going to discuss these. So I'm going to share my sound. All right. You ready?
Yep.
We'll talk about this one.
Now get big arms, a ripped chest, cut abs with the perfect push-up. The perfect push-up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the perfect push-up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of the push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders.
Your arm is designed to rotate. And that's what's so great about the perfect push-up. It moves with you as you exercise.
For over 100 years, the push-up has been regarded as the best single exercise you can do. But a traditional push-up strains your hands. Now, with the perfect push-up, you can do a push-up that is biomechanically correct. That minimizes stress and strain on the joints and gets you better results.
As a Navy SEAL, I did over 1 million push-ups. I wanted to make push-up better. And I did that with the perfect push-up.
You'll be big, you'll be cut, and you'll get amazing results. And the perfect push-up is built like a tank with solid rubber hand grips, a chrome steel handle, a non-slip rubber base, and steel ball bearings for smooth and fluid movement. Perfect push-up exercises are based on Navy SEAL 2-minute drills, so you'll get your workout done fast. Now,
Okay, so if you were a dude, because this is aimed at guys, if you were a guy who wanted to get bigger arms, bigger chest, something, whatever it was, arms and chest and shoulders, whatever, you going to buy one of those? You going to buy that? And tell me in the comments. And here, I'll even show you as I step outside. Here you go.
Yeah.
All right. These actually work really, really well.
I like them.
And like when I do my 1 to 10 warm up, pull up or push up pyramid in the morning, when I'm running in between, I run with these in my arms, in my hands. And these are what I do that warm up pyramid with now. I don't think I ever told you that. But yeah, I run with these and I put them in different positions and do different stuff.
I like them.
And they're like $50.
It's a good purchase.
It's a great thing. Carlin says I have them too.
He sold a few million of those things.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah.
So Anna said Tiny Habits. That's it. Small changes that change everything. Yep, that's a great book. I need to read. I actually need to reread that book. So the point is, yes, that's a commercial. Then the question I have for everybody who's here, would that work directly on Facebook? Would that work on Facebook? I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't know if it would work on Facebook, like just that kind of a commercial on Facebook. If you targeted really well, maybe. I don't know. But I don't see a whole lot of people trying, but that doesn't mean it's not working. But then the question becomes, okay, if that would, and I know that would work on YouTube. That kind of a presentation on YouTube, absolutely, as a pre-roll video. It's long. The only difference is you got to have that call to action in the first 10 to 15 seconds. You got to have a call to action the first 10 to 15 seconds and a second call to action by the 30-second mark. But so maybe it's structured a little bit differently based on the medium. But the information in there for a targeted person is just as important, just as applicable now as it was him running that ad. It's probably a 20-year-old ad. So would that thing work directly on Facebook? Probably. My gut tells me probably not in that form, but you could take the same information in that and tweak it around. Maybe it's coming out of you instead of it being with the graphics and everything. It's you talking it out. It's you giving the information in a certain way. I don't know, but I'm going to start experimenting more with just getting to the point a lot faster. So anyway, just some thoughts. What are your thoughts, Stu?
I would say I think it would work. And in a way, I think it would be like this. You're doing the talking versus a voiceover.
Yes.
And there's somebody behind you ripped up doing shirtless perfect push-ups.
Right. So that's what we can do.
You're just giving a demo.
We'll do split screen. I'll do the talking. You take your shirt off, Stu. You'll audition you right now. And so my point is maybe a commercial like that right on Facebook wouldn't work. YouTube, hell yeah, I would do that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would do that as a pre-roll. All right. Maybe it wouldn't work. But again, it's the information that you need to give somebody. That was good. Whoever said, Wojtek said, 60-second selling machine. Absolutely. That was the software that Alden and I created together. And that's just as valid now as ever. The information somebody needs to make a decision, to take an action, to buy, to try, to click, to sign up, to move on to the next step in your sales process. Same information, just giving it to them in a different way that maybe fits more the medium. So understanding, okay, how should we convey this information on Instagram? How should we convey this information on Facebook in order to get them over to the page that we're actually going to be making the sale, or trying to get them to move on to the next step where it becomes transactional. Transactional means buy, try, click, sign up, whatever. However, Stu, you actually sell your stuff on Facebook. You've got your store hooked in through Facebook and Instagram to swipe up to buy type stuff. How well does that work?
Very well. And I just use the Shopify, store model, which is really just a WordPress model souped up, linked into social media. It's really for me, it's been a one-stop shop to be able to link blogs and sales pages with social media.
Right.
I could, in fact, every sales page I have, every blog I have, there's a little Facebook button that sends it right to my Facebook if I want to put it on Facebook. And I do.
Right.
I do a lot of that.
So here's the thing. There's the info that somebody needs to buy. All right. That's important to understand. The info that somebody needs to buy, or to at least move on to the next step, whatever the next step is. Buy, try, click. A lot of time on social media, 99 times out of 100, we're trying to get them to click. The other factor in this, okay, is the medium. And that's a fancy word for not the site, the medium, but wherever, let's rephrase that. Channel. Okay. Because Robert said, or Peter said something, it's an infomercial for TV. That, what we just showed, was made for TV.
Yeah.
So then the question would be, okay, how do we take that information and adapt it for Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or your blog? How do we, based on the info that we need to convey to get them to the next step, and also taking into account the channel, what works on the channel, what are people expecting, what do people react to? That's going to dictate the medium and the form. And what I mean by the medium and the form, is it going to be video? Is it going to be text? Not really audio, unless you were doing that. What's that audio app everybody uses? Clubhouse. But the medium is going to dictate, and then also the script that you use, what pieces you give somebody is going to be dictated by the info you need to get across to get them to the next step, the channel you're on. So, but the thing is, those things, if we looked at that commercial again, and I want to look at the commercial again, and I'm going to write some stuff up on the board while we're watching it. All right. The stuff that's important. And then we'll come back and talk about it again. So here we go.
Now get big arms, a ripped chest, and cut abs with the perfect push-up. The perfect push-up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the perfect push-up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of the push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders.
Your arm is designed to rotate. And that's what's so great about the perfect push-up. It moves with you as you exercise.
For over 100 years, the push-up has been regarded as the best single exercise you can do. But a traditional push-up strains your hands, wrists, and elbows. Now, with the perfect push-up, you can do a push-up that's biomechanically correct. That minimizes stress and strain on the joints and gets you better results.
As a Navy SEAL, I did over 1 million push-ups. I wanted to find a way to make a push-up better, and I did that with a perfect push-up.
You'll be big, you'll be confident, and you'll get amazing results. And the perfect push-up is built like a tank with solid upper hand grips, a chrome steel handle, a non-slip rubber base, and steel ball bearings for smooth and fluid movement. Perfect push-up exercises are based on Navy SEAL 2-minute drills, so you'll get your workout done fast.
Okay, so here are a bunch of things that I got to pause this before it moves on to the next thing. Here's all the stuff that they conveyed in that and why I think this is important. Okay, so I'm going to go big screen just for a sec there, Mr. Stu, and then we'll come back to you. But this is what's important, especially to their target audience: big arms, big chest, ripped abs, right?
Yep.
Then they get into how this is the unique mechanism: natural rotation, minimum stress on your joints, maximum results with every effort you put in, and you feel it work. Then they get into the credibility of they got somebody in a lab coat telling you that this thing is awesome. And then they give a history. You know, this is like the #1 way to get amazing results because the people doing push-ups since the Roman legions. And then you get a Navy SEAL coming on saying, I did 1 million push-ups. The look on your face when he said 1 million push-ups was pretty funny, actually. Because it's like, okay. And then interestingly enough, once you do that, they did a recap. Then they reinforced the quality of the thing. They had another credibility statement. And then something that I wrote down here, special or specific or something. But you notice all the ground that they covered in that 1 minute. Those are the things that people need to hear in order to make a decision to actually move to the next step. Because the questions that are on people's minds are, who are you? What do you got? Why do I care? How's it going to help me? You know, and then I can go back to watching people falling off skateboard videos. That's and why is it different? All these things that this addresses in that 60 seconds is amazing. You could also do that not in the same. I mean, I love the laser noises when they, you know, you hear the laser noise, you know, ripped arm, pew, chest, pew, abs, pew. And then when it showed, you know, without the stress on your wrist, your hands, your elbows, like, wah, 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 you know, that kind of just subtle. But this is the kind of information that people need. And so the information is universal. The information, it's not changing. What we have to do is adapt the information that people need to make a decision to move on to the next step, whatever we want them to do. And if it's not to buy, but it's just to move on to the next step, which is to go to the page to get more information, then that's what we need to give them enough information for them to be curious to move on to the next step. So that's where it would be more questions and other things. But then based on the channel, that's going to dictate the medium that we use, the type of script, the length, and then we move from there. So this is truly a live discussion, folks, as opposed to just, you know, I don't know what else we would do. But that's now I want to watch one more because it's my show and well, it's our show. What am I talking about?
Let's do it.
All right. I want you to watch another one. This is the original pitch for the ShamWow. Now, this is 3 minutes long. All right. So this is amazing. I have watched this demo over and over and over and are trying to figure out how to incorporate doing this to demo my own software. All right. So
watch your car.
Okay. Here we go. Maybe let's see how it does full screen.
Watch your car, your truck, your van down. Now, you know, if you ever used a skin, and I did this with a skin, by this time of day, nobody would be here. Because all the skin does is push. Works like a squeegee. Can't absorb anything. My chamois absorb. You go right across the car, truck, van, and actually absorbs and holds 70 times their weight in liquid. They always dry soft. Now look at the water I just absorbed. Look, folded right on the bottom of the freezer, refrigerator, floorboard. Wherever there's liquid, look, sucks it up like a vacuum. Now I can't catch anyone hold one of those over there. You know darn well that'll drip down your arm through your socks. And can any one of you please tell me what the heck is handy about these? Well, you can find those in the dark just by smell alone. Look, 70 times its weight through your ceilings and walls. You can just walk from one end of the house to the other, and there's no trail to follow you because it holds the water in 70 times their weight. Then you take the little monsters, youngsters, to the Burger Kings, the McDonald's. You buy them Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola. You ride down the street, hit a pothole. Then you hear, Mommy, Daddy, look, on the rug, on the seat, on the kid. Now Daddy's mad enough, you want to choke the little kid. Get that on the velour? Forget. Now everybody knows that's bad, right? This is what you see. But what about what you don't see? Under the rug. Now that's worse. And milk, if milk dries up in the padding, move, quick. Oh, you talk about stink. You can't get rid of it. And in your car, as soon as the sun hits, you need a gas mask. Now watch, I'm gonna open it up. The minute I touch it, it absorbs. Fold it, it absorbs. Now the thicker you fold it, the more it's gonna absorb. I don't care what you spill. Beer, wine, gin, Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, coffee, tea, milk, Kool-Aid, grape juice. You got a dog at home? He's on time, you're not? Uh-huh. Rover went all over the rug. That's like having a loose moose in the house. Now I see some of the looks. You don't like the idea of using your hands with the dog? No? Then you step on it. Not the dog, the chamois, okay? Now I've already spilled over 7 bottles of soda on this rug today. But you see, I can do something you can't do. All I got to do is lift this rug. I can show you from top to bottom. That rug is just about dry, and every drop is up and out of the rug. All you got to do, you take out $20, cash, check, or charge for the roll. You want one? You do? You want? Hold on. There's a double roll for you. There's another double roll. You want 2 also? I sell them for everything. Beauty parlors, dry hair. You name it, they'll use these for it.
All right. That dude was raking in the cash at $20 a pop, and that same demo has been used all over the world to sell that thing. They use that demo or a derivation on that demo of like auto shows and other stuff. You will see a booth for ShamWow or Shammy whatever, all that stuff. And I'm telling you, we have gone too far in one direction where people are afraid to ask people to buy. When people want to buy, show me what you got and how it's going to make my life easier. It's on page 16 of Copywriting Secrets. Okay. Make money, save time, avoid effort, escape physical, mental, or physical pain, get more comfort, achieve greater cleanliness or hygiene to attain better health, gain praise, feel more loved, increase popularity or social status. If you can show people how you can get them one or more of those things, they want to buy. Stop sneaking up on the sale and actually stand there and show people that you've got something to help them. And be conscious of the channel that you're using and all that stuff. But ultimately, don't be afraid to show and tell that you've got something that's going to make people's lives amazingly better. I mean, I love that demo. I've watched that like 20 times in the last couple of weeks just to watch the subtlety and look at just just everything the dude is doing as far as grabbing attention, keeping attention, giving all the different ways that you can do it, eliminating objections, showing people how it avoids a problem they forgot or didn't even know they had. And it's amazing. So I'm just saying that's kind of where my mind is moving now, because everybody's moving in the direction of Crystal, every single word of that is intentional. Every single word has a purpose. The other thing is humor.
Yeah.
Using humor.
The demonstration was perfect.
Yep.
You know, it's just a perfect demonstration of how it worked. And everybody was like, take my money.
Yeah.
You know.
And that
money.
actually, yeah, that thing, you saw the thing. Anyway, that was part of a documentary that somebody did back in the 90s about pitch people who've done pitches and stuff. And I bought the DVD and watched it last Saturday morning instead of playing Xbox before it was light enough outside to work out. And watched it, loved it. I'm going to watch it again this weekend. One of the things that one of the people in there said was that if you got to use humor, because laughing makes people drop their guard. And if their guard is down, then they're paying attention to what you're saying and they're more likely to buy. You got to make it fun and entertaining because people are bored enough already. So anyway, yes. And somebody said, I always think of the screamer when I think of the sham. Wow. Yeah. Vince, and who did the slap chop. You're going to love my nuts. That's what he said. Not mine. His words, not mine. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about this morning. That's kind of stuff that I'm looking at. And I just think we absolutely, somebody asked, did you get a new white or green board? Yeah, I made my whiteboard a green board.
Looks awesome.
So a blackboard.
Yeah, it looks like a blackboard today.
Yep.
Not a green board.
That's right. Blackboard.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Jim, the podcast is going to be a good little segue into this because it's kind of the next step of this.
Okay.
And it's all about pricing.
Okay.
So you guys stick around and we'll kind of use some of these brave tips from the Jim and Stu show to go sell your product or service, and then this next podcast will be how you price it.
There you go. Okay.
Or at least an option of how to price it.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's do it. Episode 166 or 167.
67.
All right. We're in seventh heaven with 167. Hey, everybody. Jim Edwards here, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, along with my trusty co-host, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you, Jim.
And today we have episode 167. But for a moment, I want to talk about the quality of your co-host, because I learned something this past weekend I did not know. It's very interesting. You remember Johnny Carson, Stu? That was a cool thing.
Absolutely.
In the summertime. You'd stay up late and watch Johnny Carson.
The best.
Because your parents didn't care if you slept in, and then after about a week, and then they're like, you lazy little turd, you're going to get up and do work because I'm not going to have the kids sleeping all day and up all night if I can't, that kind of thing. Who was Johnny Carson's co-host?
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon. A lot of people know Ed McMahon solely from Publishers Clearinghouse and from doing being the co-host or the MC of the you don't remember Ed McMahon?
Yeah.
Clearinghouse?
Yeah, he also did that kind of like American Idol show, but it wasn't American Idol. It was
Star Search.
Star Search. There you
Star
go.
Search. You did not know. Where's the continuation of the Jim and Stu show? I learned this. Ed McMahon got his start in speaking as a pitchman for home appliance gadgets on the boardwalk in Atlantic City in the late 1940s.
Damn.
He was so good at it. He was making between $500 and $600 a week. Now let's put that into perspective. In 1949, you could buy a brand new car for $500.
Damn.
So he made enough money in 3 months to support a family and put himself through school the entire rest of the year. And he did that for 3 years. I thought that was really cool. So he actually started out as a pitchman on TV. And that was how he broke into show business and then moved on to doing demos on live TV and other stuff. So I thought that was kind of neat. So
yes, sir.
if you want to have an awesome show, you got to have an awesome co-host. And so my co-host is the most awesome co-host of any co-host in the whole world, Mr. Stu Smith, because he is about 210 pounds of pure stud. So there you go.
I thought this was going somewhere. Excuse me.
Anyway.
Well, thank you.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, somebody had asked as we ended last week's podcast about choose your pricing, or maybe then they may have put it in the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Facebook group.
Okay.
In fact, I may have seen it in there as well. But anyway, it's about choose your pricing. And what I want to discuss is maybe consider this pricing model
Mhm.
compared to other pricing models.
Okay.
And usually the choose your price pricing, I don't know, I've never done it, but from what I've seen of it, there's typically 3 options to do
Mhm.
it. So let's talk about it a little bit. Like, what are different ways to price your product? I
Okay.
can think of some off the head, like a fixed price, an hourly price, cost plus expenses price, whatever, value based price.
Yeah.
So many different ways to price something,
Yeah.
but I thought this one was somewhat unique, and I thought it was worthy of a discussion, or at least an educational moment on the option to try it.
Okay. So when I think of price, when you're talking about price, I think of a couple of different pricing models. All right. So there's value price, there's high ticket. I had somebody talk smack about me the other day with my board, like, oh, I'm all for trying new things, but having your back to the camera, to your audience, really isn't a good idea. And I'm like, okay, chucklehead, how the hell am I supposed to write on the board if I don't turn around on the board? Did you talk smack to your teacher with that in school? Did you go, well, I'm all for teaching and using, newfangled things like chalkboards, but turning your audience on the class, turning your back on the class, not a good idea. It's not a good idea, not because it's rude, because you crazy little rats might pull a gun. So here's the thing. Value pricing, it all depends on, how you price something depends on your strategy. Do I want to get a ton of customers? It's also going to depend on not just your strategy, but your the medium that you're using to sell it. It's real hard to sell, like talked in the Jim and Sue show about infomercials. It's hard to sell $1,000 thing on the TV. The most expensive thing I've seen sold really successfully mass market on TV, real mass market, like billions of dollars, $100, under $100. All right. Now, maybe that has changed a little bit. I don't know, but I can't, if you're going mass market, you got to do value pricing. Value pricing is $20, $50, $100. And $100 might be, one of the things that you say, how could anybody actually do this? Why, $100, what, it's just $100, but you might see somebody doing, it's 4 interest-free payments of $30 or $29. This is the new thing that they're doing. There are companies that have popped up that for micro stuff, but how is this interest-free if it's 4 interest-free payments of $29? Yeah, you're not charging me interest on that, but that $100 payment became $120. But this is a big thing that people are doing now with companies on the internet that they used to do on TV back in the day. Like Ron Popeil was selling his Showtime rotisserie grill for 4 easy payments of just, $29 or 24 something or other. They tried a whole bunch of different stuff. So I have some do something, 4 easy payments of $13 to sell a $30 thing. But that's value pricing. They want the thing. It does it solves a certain problem, and it's a no-brainer price. And you're just going after everybody and their brother. That another great example of that was a George Foreman grill. Did you ever get one of those, Stu?
Yep.
Yep. Do you have more than one? Do you have a big one and a little one?
I don't.
I know people that had 3 or 4 of them. They were so successful they became their own enemy, because it's like everybody bought one. We got nobody to sell one to, so we'll come out with another one. So you got the big one, you got the little one, you got one for the camper, you got one for the did, you got the one for the gift, all that stuff.
Smart.
So that's value pricing. The far end other extreme of that is high ticket pricing, where you might say, $1,000 and above. It's a high ticket item. It's $1,000 and above. So if we think about stuff in between, do we want to do payments of the $1,000? I don't know. Depends on the type of customer you want. Do you want a customer that will spend $1,000 at the drop of the hat? Or do you want somebody that can scrape together, 10 payments of 97 or 12 payments of 97, where you'll be lucky to get all those payments. And basically you're just getting somebody who can barely afford it. So that's the other thing. What type of customer do you want to get is going to dictate the pricing that you're going to do. Other discussion you need to have is price versus value. So typically when you're talking about a value proposition like this, a value pricing, you want to get to at least 5-to-1 from what I've seen. So if you're selling something for $20, it's got to be worth at least, at a minimum, $50. That's like 2.5. Between $50 and $100 should be the implied or expressed value. Down here with a high ticket item where you're trying to get somebody to cough up $1,000 or 10,000 or something like that, now we're getting into the 10-to-1 ratio. I'm asking you to spend $1,000. I'm going to show you how I'm going to give you $10,000 worth of value. Because what you want people to feel is, this is a great deal and I need to buy it before they change their mind. That's ultimately what you want to do. That urgency. And you've got to stir up their emotions a bunch so that the emotional resistance to buying is way less than the price resistance. So, and the emotional revved up, the emotional state they're in, there's no price resistance. There's no emotional resistance. It's a, let me buy this. Here, pull out $20 and I'll give you, 2 of these plus 2 little ones. And it's all just, boom, give me the $20. Now, whether you ever use it or not, that's not my problem. It does what I say it does and more. And so you spent your $20, you enjoyed the experience of buying it from me, and you know that you have it to be able to use it whenever you get around to it. This is where you start getting into a situation where there is going to be more scrutiny in most cases. Maybe not. I blew $4,000 on a shed this past weekend. I mean, it's not like I went over it with a fine-tooth comb. I needed a shed. We went and found a shed. The guy would deliver the shed. I looked in the shed. Yeah, it's a shed. It's got a roof. It's got walls. It's got a door. Okay. Does the door open and close okay? Yep. Great. Perfect. That's all. Great. So
Sold.
$4,000, I got a shed. So again, it depends on, the customer, the expectations, why they're buying it, what the deal is. Now, will I buy a shed every week? No. Am I going to get in the shed continuity club where every month I'm going to have a new shed delivered to me right to my front door? I'll have a big shed, a little shed, a corrugated top shed. I'll have one with architectural shingles. I'll have one that's covered with vinyl siding, one that's natural wood, one out of T11. No, one freaking shed. I'm done. Now, what they could have, should have done was upsold me what for the shed, Stu? What do I need to pull my lawnmower into the shed?
You need a ramp.
A ramp. Oh,
Yeah.
What else do I need inside the shed to hold
Hangers.
more crap?
Hangers and like
Shelves.
shelves.
Hangers.
Yeah.
Shelves. Huh. Do you think, are you going to be keeping anything in that shed that might be sensitive to moisture or temperature? Oh, yeah. Well, then we can put in a heavy duty vinyl floor and we can insulate it. Are you going to put some valuable stuff in there? You're going to put some stuff in there that, neighbors might want to come steal? How about a lock? Now, not just any lock, but we got this special box that we can put on there that you can use a regular padlock on, but nobody can get in there with the bolt cutters. You want one of those? So all of a sudden, somebody said mother-in-law conversion kit. I like that. That's good. It's called the tiny house. That's how you convince Grant. Comes with a DVD to convince your mother-in-law that tiny house living is where you want to be. Now we took that $4,000 shed up to a $6,000 shed, and I'm happy to pay it. Why? Because the price is a function of how much it satisfies my needs. But what is your purpose? What is your pricing is driven by purpose. What am I trying to do? Am I trying to get a crap ton of customers to buy on the front end so I can sell them stuff on the back end? Am I using this as a front end product that I'm going to have a cool bump and I'm going to have all kinds of OTOs, one-time offers and stuff? So pricing versus value versus why you're doing it versus who's the end run customer, it's going to dictate what your price is more than like, hey, this is what it cost me. Let me add 10%, which is how a lot of people have run retail businesses since time immemorial. So anyway, those are my thoughts on price.
That's good. Now, explain to me what choose your price pricing is.
It's like good, better, or best. And one of the reasons that this has come out really popular even in the space that I'm in is Predictably Irrational. There was a book written called Predictably Irrational that I think that was the book, where people always want to choose the middle option. You'll have like 10% will choose the lower option, 10% to 20% will always choose the most expensive option, and then the vast majority of people are going to go for the middle. So what you do is you create it so that the lowest one really doesn't fulfill your needs, and it shows you, oh, I'm being cheap. Then the middle one, you're charging a little bit more than you might be able to get if you had just had one option. And then you have the big one that shows, oh, I don't need all that crap. And so it creates that comparison of cheap, a little bit more, way more than I need for a lot more. But it's like, oh, this is $300 and this is 70. This is a deal. This is $70 a month, or this is $100 versus $400 versus $20. You see what I mean? That's the whole purpose of doing that type of pricing.
Yeah. Seems like you're just throwing in a curveball at the final step of your offer to me.
It depends. See, a lot of times when you see that, though, it's from people who are not selling like we're selling, like a single offer. You're not going to have the either or type sale for a book. Here's the book, and if you want to add the audiobook version to it, here you go. As opposed to, oh, here's a book or coaching, or, here's a book or group coaching or one-on-one coaching. That kind of comparison doesn't work. So it's got to be done in a situation where it's a good, better, best. It's an apples to bigger apples to biggest apples. How you like them apples? Type of comparison. So a lot of people like software as a service use that. Levels of access, levels of time, prepaying for services type stuff. That's where it's more applicable, or because that's, or, like quantity or time. So, one bottle of supplements is $50. 2 bottles of supplements is $75, and 5 bottles of supplements is $100, or whatever you want. And you'll usually see that kind of thing. You say best value.
Right.
Where the math may not even make sense. The 5 bottles may be $20 and this one's 27 and this one's $50 a bottle, but it's his best value. And people suffer from a lack of basic math from grade school, and they're like, oh, that's the best value. I'll take that. So just testing different things, knowing your audience, knowing what they want, knowing their price sensitivity. One audience might, $50 or $100 to one person might be, man, that's a decent investment. To somebody else, you charge them $100 for the exact same thing, and they're like, there ain't no way it can be any good for $100. Pass.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're coaching, honestly, Stu, if your coaching was $100 a month to be able to do what you do for me, with workouts and one-on-one and all this other stuff, you only charge $100. I'm like, dude, this dude was a Navy SEAL. He trains all these guys coming out of the Naval Academy. Something's not right that this level of service is coming for $100. It just doesn't make sense. And you won't see the value in it. You, the consumer, won't see the value in it.
Right.
But if it's $1,000 a month, it's like, okay, it makes sense. This dude would charge $1,000 a month for this level of service or whatever it is.
Right.
That's, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It costs that. So again, also whether they know you, warm traffic, cold traffic, whatever. So.
Yep. A lot of, it's a talkative crowd today, Jim.
There you go.
Yeah. A lot of good comments in here.
Yeah. When people are asking about like what Russell says about, value at 1,000 sold at 100, that's 10 to 1. That's been around for forever. Selling dollars for dimes was the first time I ever heard that expressed was by a guy named Marlon Sanders at a conference in Boulder, Colorado in February of 2001. He said, you need to sell dollars for dimes. You need to get up to that 10 to 1 ratio. Again, depending on the audience. That's why I said over here, I had, 2.5 to, 5 to 1 at this level. Because if you're selling something for this is worth $5,000 and it's only $20, they're like, nah, that's bullshit. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to give you $100 worth of value today for $20, they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But the $1,000 is like, look, this is worth 10 grand. So, and the other thing is people can pile on so much, and I have to learn this. You can pile on so much that people are like, you know what, that's too much. I'm confused. Yes, that's a lot, but it sounds like a lot. And I just wanted to get this one thing done. And you've got so much crap in here, I won't even know where to start. So that's another thing you got to be careful of too. But as far as pricing goes, somewhere between 2.5 and 10 to 1, 2.5 to 1 to 10 to 1, depending on your audience and what they're used to. So
cool. That's really good.
So somebody asked, are you saying underpricing due to being scared can be your worst enemy? I haven't talked about underpricing because you're scared. Underpricing because of a lack of self-esteem or you're scared to charge more, that's a different issue. That's a totally different issue. What we're talking about here is charging what it's, providing massive value and charging a fair price in the mind of your customer that people are going to say, oh crap, let me buy this before he changes his mind. That's really where you want to be. So, all right. Well, any last thoughts on this, Stu? I think we have addressed price, my friend.
No, it's very interesting. I was considering using some installment pricing on some of my higher ticket items just to see if that changes people pulling the trigger on it. Just wanted to see what that does with it. So the neat thing about the Shopify store is it can do installments as well.
Yeah, I would recommend checking out one of those companies that will take the money for you and just pay you, so you can get your money up front and you're not in the collection business.
Yeah.
Because that's where it becomes a real pain, especially once you go beyond a couple payments. It is a huge pain. In fact, Susan, would you like to come on? Sure. Hey, Susan, is it a pain to try and track people down and cut off access and do all this other stuff when you do payments? It's one of the reasons why we don't do payments?
Yeah, and then there's sadly people that enjoy coming in and getting what they can get and then ghosting you.
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of payments, never have been.
Fair enough.
In my opinion, your credit card is your payment thing. They'll let you make payments.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's the way I've always looked at it. But
plus, they're also got a huge department of people to take care of that.
That's exactly.
That's a good point.
So, good point. Thanks, Susan. All right. So that's it for today. Appreciate y'all. If you want to get in shape, go to StuSmithFitness.com. If you want to learn how to write amazing copy that will help you sell just about anything, get more clicks, get more sales, get more profits, head on over to copywritingsecrets.com and you can get not only a copy of that, but you can take the order bump of the audiobook, which is Stu and I reading the book together. Actually, me reading the book to Stu, and then Stu asking me very intelligent questions where I give all sorts of extra information that's not in the book. Head on over to copywritingsecrets.com. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.